What's going on, guys? Welcome to Sunday Social, Sunday night, and the Premier League. I would say the Premier League action is finally finished, but obviously there's still another game to go. Monday night football, but I said good afternoon, good evening. What a start to the show. This is Sunday Social, and United finally have some positive momentum. So I want to discuss us going forward, us as a team, what Ten Hag needs to do. What certain individuals need to step up, what individuals are doing well, where we're at, like just the trajectory of United going into these next couple of games. Because I do think we've got a favourable run going forward, at least for the next couple of weeks or so. A couple of teams dropping points, and I think we can really catch up. I mean, if you look at the Premier League, I know it sounds bad, but considering the start that we've had, and we're 6 points off Arsenal, I think 3 points off Chelsea. So, look, that's the difference, basically. Everyone's saying Chelsea is having a fantastic season. Everyone's saying we're having a terrible season, but this 3 points difference is something. So, ultimately, football is very fickle. Football can change very quickly. And if we string a run together and start getting in form, people are talking about us in the next couple of weeks, saying about, oh, United are definitely nailed on to get top four and and all that kind of stuff. But you have to win games, and you have to be solid for a full 90 minutes. And I think Manchester United have struggled with that this season. So I want to discuss that and the plan going forward, and obviously get all your thoughts and opinions as well, because this is a conversation. This is a two-way conversation, not just a one-way. Also, I want to just talk about Jadon Sancho. A lot of Chelsea fans digging him out today after the performance against Liverpool. He was showing similar things, I would say, to what we saw at United, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to sell him. Kind of slowing the ball down, not running at his man, just slowing the game down in general, to be honest, when Chelsea didn't really need it. So, yeah, Sancho dropped a stinker for Chelsea. I want to get everyone's thoughts on that. Obviously, the Premier League action in general as a whole over the weekend I want to talk about, because I think it's been, especially for FPL owners and stuff, but just in general for football, I don't think it's been the best weekend of games. You know when you look at the fixture list, you was looking at it and you was like, you know what? I fancy quite a few of them. And it's just not really lived up to expectation. But again, that's my opinion. People might disagree with that. So we'll talk about the games over the weekend, a couple of surprises in there. And also, I want to talk about Marcus Rashford and do a little bit of a Q&A as well. So quite a jam-packed show, even though there's actually not a load of news kind of floating about. So, yeah. Like I said, get involved in the comments. Let us know. And we'll start off with Man United. So, like I said, 6 points off third place. A favourable run. I think it's time to catch up. Let's go for all Man United's next 5 fixtures now, yeah? So, judging if they play how they do in the 45 minutes that they did against Brentford, let's go to it. Let's have a look. So, Fenerbahce, obviously, on Thursday night, it's a difficult one. You've got the whole kind of narrative with Jose Mourinho and Fenerbahce. And Turkey away, just in general, seems to be... You've got Galatasaray, where we struggled, didn't we? Even though we went 2 goals up. I can see a very similar game, kind of going 1 or 2-0 up, and then, Jose finding a solution and pinching a draw or something. You've got the whole kind of narrative with Amrabat being there and Fred, and so there's a story going into that one. But like I said, if United play how we did in the second half, you should be putting Fenerbahce away, with all due respect. So, very tricky game. But if you want to carry that winning momentum into the weekend, then we play a West Ham. I know it's away, but if you've watched West Ham this season, in particular this weekend, just gone against Spurs and the game against Chelsea as well, in terms of organisation and defensive resilience, the crap. They're absolutely crap. So if their attackers are on it, if Rasmus, Garnacho and Rashford are on it, you should be going there and you should be getting a decent result. Because, if I think Spurs scored 4 and Chelsea scored 4 against them. So, they concede a lot of goals. And I've not been convinced at all with Lopetegui going there. And neither is a lot of other people. A lot of people were talking about him after Moyes leaving, which is a little bit bizarre. It's kind of one of those big names, but has he actually really done anything in the game, Lopetegui? I don't know, managed Real Madrid, of course, managed Sevilla, did all right with them, I think, but yeah, it's just not working out for him at all. And in actual fact, he's playing the exact similar style to what David Moyes was playing, so you might as well just get David Moyes. He'd probably be higher up in the table right now. So that one was a bizarre one, but I think anyone who's been on this channel, and the majority of viewers have agreed with that, really. They've said they don't really rate him. So West Ham away is, people call it tough, but I think you should be winning that, even with the form that we're in. I just think we've got the players to go there and do the job. So yeah, and then you got Leicester at home in the EFL Cup against Sneeze Cooper. Again, Leicester have been very mid. They've had a lot of draws. You should be winning that. And then the big one is the 3rd of November on Sunday against Chelsea at Old Trafford. And And yeah, a lot of the times when we played Chelsea, it's been a draw, like a 1-1 draw. So I could see a similar result in there. But yeah, that Chelsea one's the big one. I think that is the measuring stick for where we're at in a minute. Because everyone's talking about Chelsea like, you know, the flavour of the month, aren't they? Cole Palmer, Enzo Maresca. And, you know, they're doing well. They look good. Even that Liverpool performance, then they look decent. But that'll be the measuring stick. If you get a result against Chelsea, that's when you gain, I would say, some of the fans' trust back, and you're like, right, this is the pathway now. Because then you got POAK, you've got Leicester at home again, you've got Ipswich away, you've got Bodo Glimt, you've got Everton, and then you don't play Arsenal until the 4th of December. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 relatively favourable games, apart from Chelsea. Take Chelsea out of it. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Adam Partridge, hi mate, I'm new, I'm Man United fan too. Welcome, Adam. Please do smash like in the video for us. We've got Dan in the chat as well saying, I'd hope you're a United fan, considering this is a United fan channel. Anyone's welcome, as long as your opinions aren't fucking stupid or you're slagging off United. I think anyone is welcome. But yeah, I mentioned our attackers before. I look at the forward line, and I think, look, Marcus Rashford, 12 games, 4 goals, 3 assists. Not an amazing return, but if you compare it to last season, I mean, actually, I don't know what he got, but I imagine it's probably around that. So let's take a look. Should have pulled this up really before. So yeah, last season, he got 7 goals and 2 assists in the full campaign in 33 matches. So yeah, starting to improve on that. I think he's looked sharper. What I really liked, and I touched on this in the pros and cons, what I really liked yesterday was the playmaking ability and the tracking back. And that's something Marcus Rashford, we've never, ever really had that from him. He doesn't do the difficult side of the game well. If he doesn't score, people say, what actually does he do? So that to see from him is good. And as a unit, I think they need to work better together. There's still like 3 individuals in the forward line. I want to see Garnacho contributing more. I touched on that in the pros and cons. Rasmus is actually probably the least selfish player in that forward line, and he's the striker, which is crazy. So yeah, certain dynamics need to be tweaking in that front 3. But I'm liking Marcus so far. It's not to the level that he was, the confidence level in the first season when Ten Hag took over. But in actual fact, when you compare some of the games probably from that first season under Ten Hag to how he played yesterday, let's say, his overall game was probably better. It was just Marcus had a scoring run under Ten Hag where it was just like he just looked unstoppable every time he got it. But if he didn't score, like I said, he wouldn't really contribute. So I'm happy with him the way he's overall been. He seems happier. Let's just hope that continues, because that front 3 needs to start scoring goals now, going forward. So fingers crossed he sticks with that. And let's have a conversation about who deserves to start right now. Based off performances, based off what you've seen, who should definitely start in this team? Because when I watch Brentford, I think that the front 3 now has to be Rasmus, Marcus and Garnacho. Ahmad had a great start to the season. I'm a massive fan of Amad Diallo, but he went a little bit quiet after that. And maybe he needs to build that confidence back up off cameos in the Europa League or whatever. That's fine. But right now, I think that is the front 3. If they start finding a bit more of a connection. Rasmus, his overall game has well improved against Brentford. Something that he's been criticised before is his hold-up play. Linking other players into the game, using his strength, his aerial ability. He struggled a little bit in the first half against Brentford, but then the second half, he really came into his own. So, yeah, I think those 3 deserve to start. The midfield, you can argue Christian Eriksen definitely, well, you can't even, it's not even an argument, is he? He's been our best midfielder, really. I think Eriksen has been consistently good, although he does have his deficiencies off the ball, which we've already spoken about. And then Bruno Fernandes in that free roam against Brentford was decent. Rotating with Rashford, going over to the right-hand side, dropping into midfield sometimes to make up the numbers. A much more measured performance from Bruno. So Bruno Eriksen, I would say. The 6 is still a question, because I don't think Casemiro was okay against Brentford, but I think he's just pulled his calf. So you're going to have to throw Ugarte in there. Ten Hag's already spoken about Ugarte, saying it's going to have to be measured. It's going to take a couple of weeks to really get him integrated into the squad, used to the timings and the patterns and all that kind of stuff, which is crazy when you think you spent 50 million quid on a player, you'd be ready, good to go, but it just doesn't seem he's ready. And maybe he will get up to that. Maybe it'll take a time. You see this sometimes with players. It takes a little bit to acclimatise to how quick the Premier League is. and that's fine. But right now, it's not like we can have patience, is it? We need results, and we need players to be fit and firing. So I think probably Casemiro sticks in there, but whether he deserves to or not is a different conversation. No one's really grabbed it by the scruff of the neck. And then the back line. Look, people, when Johnny Evans first signed, he was slagging him off left, right, and centre. They was like, why on earth are you signing this guy? And blah, blah, blah. But I actually think it's been a little bit of a fairy tale story for Johnny Evans. Obviously, he was at the club quite a while back, won the Premier League with us, went off and did his own thing with like Leicester and West Brom, and then came back just training with the team, really, wasn't he? Was he like 34, 35 years old? Didn't have a club, and Ten Hag took a punt and said, you know what? We'll have you as a backup centre-back. You know, we've had our injury problems. If we need someone to fill in, we think you could do a job. And then in the first season, he played 30 games. Did phenomenally well in a lot of them. Had that lovely assist at Burnley for Bruno Fernandes, which is an unbelievable goal. And then, yeah, come into the second season, and he's been our best centre-back, I'd say. I mean, Lissandro's been underwhelming. De Ligt's had moments where you're like, oh. Maguire's been in and out with injuries. Lindelof's only just come back from injury. So Evans has been the mainstay in that back line. He's been the best player, I think. And sometimes it goes to show it's not all about age. When we talk about age as like a longevity kind of thing, like of course, when you bring younger players in, there's long term, you're thinking about a plan. You don't bring Johnny Evans in and think, right, this is the next 3-4 years. But aged like a fine wine, one might say. Like he's been in the game now for what, 20 years? So all that experience comes into it. Sometimes it's not all about how quick you are. It's about timing, anticipation, knowing when to drop, knowing what's behind you, communicating with your backline. And he's shown that. No doubt, you know, if he comes up against a Gabriel Jesus or something like that, he might struggle a little bit, you know, in terms of mobility and getting around it. But I think he's been a wise man in that backline. And yeah, I think he's been decent. So he's definitely earned his spot alongside, I don't know, it's difficult. De Ligt, I'd probably say for now. I think I like De Ligt's performance. Very, very. It had like an essence of Nemanja Vidic in it. The blood dripping down the head, the passion, and overall his game in general was decent. Majari goes in at right back. Dalot has to go in at left back, and then Onana is your goalkeeper. So on form, that's what I would say is our best 11. Kirk Howcroft is saying Sancho's a failed player in the Prem. Alex Core, we sold Sancho. Yes, we did. I don't know how you're only just catching up with that. But yeah, let's segue on to that because that was the next kind of topic. He's dropped a stinker today against Liverpool. Very passive, kept slowing it down, not beating his man, which is, we all saw this at Manchester United. You know, we went to Chelsea, had a couple of assists, and the way Chelsea fans were talking about him was like the next coming of Christ. Like, oh my God, look how well he's doing. He's amazing and da-da-da. We've absolutely mugged United off. All right, you have your honeymoon period. I'll let him have a couple of assists or what have you, and then see how he does in the big games and steps it up. Because against Liverpool, 0 out of 3 successful dribbles, 0 out of 3 ground duels won, no tackles won, and no output whatsoever. So, you know, I know you've seen all the Chelsea fans reacting online saying, oh, he's not doing this, and you're looking at it as a United fan, and you're like, this is what he was doing. This is why the reason we've seen good bits out of him from time to time, but we can never grind that consistency out of him. You know what I mean? So, and Chelsea will face a similar problem. I think with the wingers that they've got in, like, I think Neto should be starting for him. I think, and Nkunku's a decent player. If he keeps putting in performances like that in big games, he'll drop down to the bench, and then you'll probably hear him moaning about it, how he's not getting game time and blah blah blah, and etc etc. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sat here saying, oh, I'm happy that he's had a bad performance, but I just mean fans are so quick to jump on your back after a couple of performances. You know, he's just arrived at the club. He's got 2 assists, let's say. I don't even know his stats for him. Let's have a look. Sancho's stats with Chelsea. Watch him have like 10 assists now. 3 assists he's got. You know, it's not mega, is it? You know what I mean? And I don't even know who those assists come against, but 3 assists so far for Chelsea. He's not exactly lighting it up. Let's have a look where he got his assists. So 1 against Bournemouth, 1 against West Ham, and 1 against Brighton. That's it. So, yeah, it's like, West Ham and Bournemouth are mid-table-ish. West Ham a little bit lower down, and Brighton. So yeah, look, he's done okay, but he's not lighting it up. Give it another 2 months and Sancho will be spitting the dummy out. His first 3 games, I think. Yeah, That's what I mean. He will have moments like that. He will look good, especially in a better system that's more suited to him. Under Ten Hag, it was never, ever going to work. I always say the fundamentals of a winger is pace. You need pace. And if you don't have pace, you have to be an insanely smart player. And Jadon Sancho is that. And going into Maresca's system, which is more positional based, I feel like United's is more transitional based. He suits it more. Especially with someone like a wing-back like Cucurella who's bombing on. We've had our left-back issues as well. Sancho never seemed to suit United. And if he does well there, fair play to him. You know, do you think? I wish you all the best. But don't have Chelsea fans coming at us and trying to give us shit about, oh, we've mugged you off for Sancho and all this kind of crap. Because look how we performed today when it matters. You know what I'm saying? And you also have to have good work rate. Exactly, Kirk. Spot on, mate. So, yeah, that was just my thoughts on Jadon Sancho. But the games in general, I don't know. We did the Prem predictions on Friday, I think it was. Yeah, Friday night, sorry. And we were looking at all the games. It was like, you know what? There could be some belters in here. There's been a lot of red cards, by the way. A lot of red cards. I mean, we've had the Tottenham game, West Ham, where Kudus got sent off. You had the Fulham game where I think... who was it? Joaquin Anderson and Billie Jean, is it? Billie Jean? Sounds like Michael Jackson. Billie Jean is not my lover. Oh, he's just a girl who said that I was the one. Is it Billie Jean? But the kid is not my son. Phila Jean. My bad. It's Phila Jean, but it sounds like Billie Jean, doesn't it? He got sent off as well. Let me have a look. Where the... I just pulled them up then. Southampton, no, that was there. Where have they gone? Oh, there they are. And then in the Southampton game, someone got sent off. I don't know who got sent off for them. Ryan Fraser. And then there was one more. Obviously, the Arsenal game as well. Saliba got sent off. And there could have been a couple of more. In the Chelsea game in particular, it was a very similar situation. Was it Levi Colwell, I think, who could have got sent off? So a lot of red cards in that sense. But the games, I thought the City game was a little bit underwhelming. We had the Tottenham versus West Ham was good. United Brentford, meh. Brighton Newcastle, meh. I thought that'd be a bit of a barn burner, especially at St James's Park. Everton beat Ipswich pretty comfortably. Leicester and Southampton was all right. The Bournemouth one weren't great. Like I said, Wolves and City, and then Liverpool and Chelsea was a decent enough game, but it weren't like a lightning rod. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I felt like it was a little bit underwhelming, especially like I said for FPL owners and stuff. Because we've been looking forward to it for 2 weeks. We've had the international break. You know, we had no football apart from international football, which is just dog shit in my opinion. So to come back to this, we're like, yes, looking forward to the Premier League. And I thought some of the games didn't deliver. For me, I don't think they delivered. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. What do you think about the game, guys? Liverpool, Chelsea, City, and Wolves. Did you agree with the Bernardo Silva decision? Any other kind of controversial decisions that was out there, and like penalties and stuff? Talk to me. Very quiet in the chat. Talk to me. Ooh, talk to me. I'm just seeing if there's any updates at all. Royal United. Very quiet for a Sunday night. Very, very quiet. I thought I was having a nosebleed then. Yeah, just didn't rate him at all. I thought the predictions that I made, I can go through them now. I think Tottenham has said 2-1. They won 4-1. United and Brentford have said 2-2. We won 2-1. Fulham and Villa, I think I said 2-2 as well. I was actually surprised when Villa won that game. And then Newcastle and Brighton I went for a draw. I'm surprised Newcastle didn't score, man. That's the only game that I didn't properly see, so I didn't see if they had a lot of chances. Let me pull up the statistics. 21 shots. So, yeah, but just couldn't convert. And then we end up with the Premier League table, which looks like this. Let me get it up. That's what she said. So by game week 8, I believe, Liverpool first on 21 points. Man City second by literally a last-minute winner with Bernardo Silva. Which is, people say it was controversial, but it weren't. They shouldn't have gone to VAR anyway. It was just a daft decision. Arsenal third on 17 points, level with Aston Villa as well, who were fourth. And then we go down to Brighton, who are on 15 points and fifth in the Europa League spot. Chelsea on 14. Tottenham on 13. Newcastle on 12 points. Fulham on 11. And Bournemouth on 11 as well, who are 10th. And then it's us. So basically, we're level on points with Bournemouth and Fulham, all on 3 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses. And then the next kind of step up from that is Tottenham, Chelsea, Brighton, and they're the ones who are catching at the minute. But we're only 3 points, like I said, behind Chelsea. I don't know Chelsea's games. Next, obviously, they've just played Liverpool, which is a difficult game. But they've got Newcastle next. So one of those two are dropping points again. We go and beat West Ham. We're level on points. That's how easy it is in the Premier League. That's how easy it is just to switch it up like that. You string together a couple of games and you win the ones that you should. Top four, you're back in the conversation for it. Everyone after the Tottenham game was talking about no chance are going to make it into the top four. So yeah, hi mate, Mark Goldbridge. I don't know him personally. I've met him on a live a couple of times, but yeah, I don't know him. He was at Old Trafford, wasn't he? On yesterday, I think. So yeah, breaking news. So yeah, just to start here, coming up on Sancho. It's 26 touches, 0 assists, 0 goals, 0 key passes, 0 duels won, 0 tackles, 0 successful dribbles, 0 clearances, interceptions. It's like a winger. He's not going to have any of them, is he? Dan Nerrington saying, still don't think we're getting top four. No, look, I don't want to get ahead of myself. But I'm saying, the point I was making is it's easy for people to get wrapped up when you're in a little bit of bad form, and when you turn it around, it can happen, you know. Yeah, last year was mad because it was really, really bad. But we still won an FA Cup and beat the best team in the world in the final. So these players have shown they can do it when it matters on the day. I'm just sat there, I'm like, if they could just get this out consistently in games, you'd be talking about top four, because the talent level that's in that team should be pushing for that, I think, with the money that's been spent as well. There's no doubt they should be pushing for that. But it's just something's not clicking. And against Brentford in the second half, it felt it was back a little bit. But we have to see how we perform against Fenerbahce. If they go there and win convincingly, let's get that snowball effect. Let's go to West Ham. Let's go beat them convincingly. And then we can properly have a conversation and reflect on it. But until then, I'm not getting ahead of myself, and I'm not going to hold my breath. So, yeah. Look, for the set individuals who are in the chat watching right now, thank you very much. I appreciate every single one of yous. Look, don't be too miserable because it's Monday tomorrow. We're going to have the preview on Tuesday for that Fenerbahce game. And, yeah, there'll be an afternoon show. There'll be a late show tomorrow as well. So, please do leave a like on the video for us, whether you're watching this live or later on. Subscribe to the channel. My name is Nick.